Welcome to From Root to Crown with Rebe, the podcast where we explore the depths of self-understanding and the mysteries of the universe. I'm Rebe Goebel, your guide on this transformative journey. In today's episode, we are going to be diving into chakras. What are they, and why should you even bother knowing about them? Hopefully, this discussion will offer you some insights and tools to lead a more balanced, joyous life. Let's begin. Welcome back to From Root to Crown. I am so excited to get back to basics. I realized that I have jumped way into the deep end with some of my topics, and even in my teachings, some of this comes really easily to me. And so I assume that it comes really easily to others. And I think because it comes easily to me, there's a lot of just innate confidence that you have. If you think about any area of your life where you're gifted, whether that's math or athletics or creativity or your art, there's always a sense of training and honing that skill, but there's a level of confidence that comes with having some innate skill and natural ability there. And here in the spiritual realm, I feel pretty confident, and I overestimate what is base knowledge. So I'm really excited to start a couple of back to basics episodes here where we are going to focus on those very first building blocks, building vocabulary, setting context for some of the other things that I talk about. And I think it will help you, even if you are familiar with these topics. I want to encourage you to stick around and still listen, because inevitably, anytime someone teaches or talks about a particular topic, even if it's something I feel confident in, I've had training in, you always learn something new. It's like going back and rereading a book that you love. You catch nuance and details, and somebody might explain something in just the right words, and you'll have this aha moment, this epiphany, and deepen your own understanding and practice in these areas. So even if you wouldn't consider yourself a beginner, I encourage you to listen to these. I'm going to try and keep them pretty short, just so that you reground yourself in those basics, and you might just pick up a thing or two along the way. So first, we're going to start here with chakras. What are they? They're basically energy vortexes. Vortex might sound like a really woo word out there, but think of it as just a juncture, a center for the energy that flows through your body. Science has proven we've been able to measure and detect the flow of energy through our bodies and have mapped it out. Of course, this is no surprise to any of our friends with Eastern traditions, whether you're talking about acupuncture or traditional Chinese medicine. Any of those practices have known about these energy points, these nexi. I don't know what the plural is of that, but these points in our body where there is a gathering of energy. So whether you think of it like your heart is obviously the hub for your bloodstream, right? For your circulatory system. And just like your heart or your lungs are the centers of that system where everything flows out from that area, and you have connections where different arteries flow off from that. Your energy branches off from these energy centers, chakras. The majority of the time, people talk about 7 main chakras. Those are the ones that are most well known. There are minor chakras outside of these 7, but the 7 that you are going to hear people talk about the most are the crown chakra, which is just above your head, right at the top of your head, your third eye, which is in the center of your forehead, your throat chakra, which is obviously in your throat, your heart chakra, which is here in the center of your chest, your solar plexus chakra, which is just below your diaphragm, centered here right around your stomach, your sacral chakra, which is in your pelvic area space. For women, it's where your uterus is or was, that womb space. For men, it's also associated with that same area where the reproductive organs are. And then your root chakra is right at your tailbone. So right there at the base. So each of these chakras serve as a gateway, as a focal point for the different types of energy that flow through that part of your body. So for your crown chakra, it's inspiration and what comes in from the divine. Your third eye chakra is your intuition. And right, think about it being open and being a third eye, being able to see more deeply, see other things around. Your throat is obviously for communication. Your heart is for your emotions. Your solar plexus here in your diaphragm in your belly is that root of who you are, that self-esteem. It's a very, very powerful, fiery energy. So your sacral chakra is all about creativity and your sexuality. Think about it. That's literally where we create new life from. So when you're trying to tap into your creativity, moving energy through your sacral chakra is very, very beneficial. And then your root chakra is all about feeling safe, your family, some structure, some support. And it's the first chakra that comes online after we're born. So why should you even care? Why should you even care that you have these chakra systems? Well, just like you don't know that you have an appendix, it just does its thing in the background or is hanging out until it's messed up and causing you dis-ease, causing you discomfort and pain and not doing what it needs to do. Having a basic understanding of your chakras helps you tune into where your energy is flowing freely, where things are in balance and alignment, and where you might have deeper work. When I'm doing Reiki, I'm always tapping into people's chakras and getting energy rebalanced and getting those chakras to work better with each other. Sometimes it's about clearing stuck energy. Sometimes it's about bringing more energy in. But ultimately, if you are feeling any sort of imbalance or discomfort, tuning into your energetic body, which again, science has proven exists, is just as important as the care and feeding of your physical body and of your mental health, right? So it's just another part of self-care when we are trying to not cut ourselves off from parts of ourselves. So understanding what they are, but then being able to get in tune with them is a really beneficial tool to have in your toolkit. How do you do this? How do you start to connect with your energy centers? I'm going to go deeper into this in a future Back to Basics podcast of really how to connect to your own energy. But think about the parts of your body that are feeling discomfort. Each of these chakras has a correspondence to it. I will include 2 reference books that I use and have dog-eared. I have them both right here. So Chakra Healing by Margarita Alcantara and the Chakra Bible by Patricia Mercier are my two go-to chakra books that really walk you through a good baseline on each and every chakra, what the correspondence are, what the colors are, crystals that you can use for each of them, essential oils that correspond and support each of them. Each of the chakras is also associated with a specific color. So as I am channeling Reiki, if I see a specific color, I will tune into that person's chakra that corresponds to see if that's a signal to me that I need to do some additional work there. But if you're not attuned to Reiki, I think the easiest ones to tap into when you're beginning are your heart space and your throat space. So let's just start with the throat. Take a moment, and if you're someplace where you can do this safely, close down your eyes. And I just want you to take a couple of deep breaths here. In through your nose, out through your mouth, and tap into the feeling in your throat. Feeling the inhales moving in through your nose or your mouth and down through your throat space. And then feel the air move back out. And notice what part of your throat, the front or the back, the air is actually hitting. And as your eyes are still closed, and as you think, and as you connect with your throat space, notice if there's any tension, any tightness. Is your voice tired? Do you just have a knot right here in the middle? As you bring your awareness to this part of your body and get curious about what the energy is like in this part of your body, notice if any thoughts come to mind as you're thinking about using your voice, communicating your truth with either yourself or with someone in your life. Are you free to vocalize your thoughts and use your voice? And if not, why? And next, I invite you to bring your attention a little bit deeper into your heart space. Just as your awareness lands here, can you feel a change in this part of your body? A change in temperature, perhaps? A sensation of flow? I invite you to bring your hand hovering over your heart space here. As I feel energy, I feel it as a change in temperature. And I can feel the flow of this energy field around my heart on my hand as I hover my hand here. It's very subtle. Play with how close you have your hand to your body. maybe even resting your hand directly onto your chest, pushing just a little bit, giving your body a little bit of pressure. And then try and hover your hand again. And just notice, do you feel anything in your heart space as you bring your hand closer to it? Do you feel anything in your hand? So in this way, you can tune into each and every one of your chakras. If you still have your eyes closed, you're more than welcome to open them. But this is the beginning. This is that starting step of starting to play with the idea of these energy centers in your body. And as you become aware, just like as you are paying attention to your digestion, or if you're paying attention to how you feel after you get 10,000 steps a day, or you're paying attention to your hair growth, or anything else that your body does on its own, within its own system, without you having to think about it, your energy system is doing the same thing. But paying attention to it and tapping into it here gives you the ability to then provide it the support that it needs when it's not in balance, when there is some sort of imbalance in these chakras. For many, it goes back to some sort of trauma that they've experienced. I've decided I'm not going to use big T, little t trauma anymore, because honestly, it all impacts us in really similar ways. And what is big T trauma to you might be little t trauma to somebody else. So it's all a judgment call. Tangent aside, a lot of the imbalances in our chakras, in our energy system, comes from something unresolved that we are still healing from and working through, or something that's out of balance in our current situation that we are going through, and might be a situation where you can't speak your mind. If you're feeling like you can't use your voice, your throat chakra is going to gum up. It's going to get sticky, and energy is going to get stuck there, and you're going to start to have dis-ease in that space of your body. For me, I have dealt with a bunch of gut issues. I have dealt with a bunch of female issues in my lifetime, and a lot of it has resolved as I have dug deeper and deeper into my past and creating safety in my life. I was very, very sick as a child and was born premature. The doctors thought I was going to be born stillborn. So there was a lot of trauma that I have been working through from the moment that I was born, into panic and fear from my mom. And the work that I do there has allowed my root chakra to come online for the first time. I've been doing this work for 4 years, and it's only been within the last year that I am able to tap into my root chakra and really feel energy moving there. And it's not perfect yet. So I don't want you to think that this is a fast process. Creating balance, rebalancing your chakras is not going to happen over one Reiki session with me. I wish it did. I could charge a lot of money and I would have a line out the door. And the other important thing is that chakra balancing is not an outside job. It's not something that I can do for you. It's something that I can guide you on. It's something I can help with. But I've been working with my Reiki master for 4 years. And no matter how much work she did, it was me and the work that I did with her holding my hand that allowed me to finally have this connection to my own root chakra. So even if connecting to your chakras, like let's say you can connect to your heart space, it's probably one of the more intuitive chakras to start that connection to, because we can feel our emotions, we can feel into that heart space. It's a little bit more innate to connect there, but maybe not for you. Regardless, whichever one that feels the most live, that has the most energy flowing freely through it, just start there. And don't beat yourself up if you don't immediately connect to all 7 of these major chakras that I've spoken about. It can be a slow process. For me, it was a combination of coaching, of Reiki, of traditional therapy, talk therapy. I had to do all of that work, plus my own spiritual journey, learning to be a Reiki master myself and giving myself Reiki all the time, and tapping into the Akashic records and all of the other modalities that I have. I needed them all in order to be able to connect to all 7 of my chakras. And again, they're not all perfectly in tuned and aligned. I don't think that that's really the goal. The goal is to be better. The goal is to be healthier. The goal is to have it flowing more freely and to have the tools in place so that as things get out of balance, I catch it quicker and I bring it back into balance that much quicker. So let me know what other questions you might have around the chakras or any of those other basics that maybe I've jumped a little too far in. I'm going to leave a question box. You can actually now leave comments on individual episodes in Spotify. So if you're listening to this in Spotify, please feel free to drop your questions into the comments. If you're catching this on YouTube, you can do the same. And let me know what else you want me to break down to its absolute basics. And if you have questions, again, on chakras, I'm happy to talk about this. This is one of those building blocks that whether you're going to a yoga class or any sort of, again, energy work or doing anything in the spiritual metaphysical space, there's a high likelihood that the chakras are going to be mentioned as a system. And I think those of us who are in these spaces all the time forget that at one point we didn't know what the 7 chakras were either. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of From Root to Crown with Rebe. I hope that you have a better understanding of your chakras and your energy system, and that it's offered you some valuable insights and a deeper connection into your own journey. Remember, you are your own medicine, your own teacher. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, share, and leave a review. I look forward to continuing this journey and diving into more basics in our next episode. Until then, be gentle with yourself and stay connected to the wisdom within.